Hi Boss Tribe, it's Dee Schutz back with another episode of The Boss in the Chair. I'm really excited to have one of the flyest bosses I've ever met in my life with us today, the incomparable Chevy Lowe. Thanks for being here, Chevy.
Aw, thanks for having me.
You personify this ability to just have energy and get so many things done. So you have your own business, your own travel business. Tell us a little bit about that. And then you work with youth in the community. And then on top of it, you seem to be volunteering for every single thing in your community that is, sort of helping youth, including traveling to college tours with them and all of those things. And so I think the people out there really want to hear about how do you balance all of that and why are you doing so many things? Why is that important to you?
Yeah, when you talk about balance, I'm really not. It's just a facade, really.
Good.
No, but,
good.
So
makes me feel better.
Yeah, no. Every day I'm like talking to myself in the grocery store. People are looking at me crazy because I'm like, oh, I forgot this, or I need to do this, and people are like, what is this lady doing? So no, I don't have it all together, and balance is one of those things that I think we all struggle with, right? But when you have things that you're passionate about, and you want to make sure that you make a priority, you find a way, to make it happen, not only on the business side, but as moms, we just have to. So we just have to bring that boss out of us and do it. And so for me, I think it's one of those things I often get, well, why don't you're just so good at travel and things like that. But I'm so passionate about our youth, I can't let it go.
Yeah,
right? It'd be easy just to go say I'm going to focus on my own business, but I balance both because I just so much, and every day I'm in these schools, I'm watching our students and seeing that they need our support, and I can't give up on them, and I know that I have other ton of people in the community that don't want to give up on them, so that's what kind of pushes me to move forward. And then just pulling from my own experiences. I know when I was going through school, there were certain resources that I know about now that I wish that I would have known about or been able to take advantage of or reached out to people in the community more.
Right.
So I think that's one of my biggest goals, is making sure that our students know that there are resources and that they know where to find them. And so you don't have to be in an affluent area just to be able to take advantage or be able to get that progressive movement earlier in high school or earlier in school.
It's so selfless of you to think that way. And more than anybody I know, you really do think about, you don't hear often folks be like, well, I'm doing both because I love it. And I'm walking, I think, in my purpose. And not until this year, even for myself, did I understand what that means and that it doesn't feel as much like work, although I might have as many work hours or more in a week trying to do multiple things, but I just feel like I'm walking in purpose. You've sort of taught me that. When did you realize, like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do as long as it's me walking in my purpose?
Yeah, I think when I started the travel agency, which was probably about 5 years ago, I had no clue how it was going to take off. I just knew. So I got married on a destination wedding, and from that point, I was like, oh my goodness, I love doing this. And I couldn't get married every year, right? At a destination.
Well, you could. I think it would be expensive.
I was like, how do I still feed this passion? I said, well, I'll plan destination weddings for other people, right? And so it was one of those things, but I didn't want to give up what I was doing. So my sister presented me with the opportunity and said, hey, do you want to do this? And I said, absolutely. So it helped to have her helping support on some other pieces of it, which still allowed me to pursue my passion. So I just knew that I couldn't give up both, even when it took off. I was like, whoa, hang on a second, what's going on here, right? But you just have to keep going. There was no way I was giving up on these students. I was gonna let that go. And so for the past 5 years, I've just been managing and balancing both, making sure that people have amazing weddings and vacations, and making sure that these students can get to college or pursue whatever it is that they want to pursue post-secondary.
What have you had to get better at in the last 5 years as you've balanced that, where you're like, that really wasn't a skill for me? So me, being proactive is not my natural state of being. So I have had to get really, crisp about that in order to manage life. But what's one of those things like 5 years ago versus now with all that you have going on that you've had to grow?
Yeah, you bring up a funny thing about being proactive, and I always preach it to my students, and I'm still learning how to do it. I'm always saying be proactive instead of reactive, right? And it'll kind of set a better tone for everything, but I still struggle with it today. It's hard, but you just got to keep going. Right? You got to keep going. So when it comes back, I just bring it back all to the balance and really trying to focus on the self-care too, because that's one of the things that I kind of comes in. Then you can use it for yourself. I'm like, before these students have me going all kinds of crazy, let me hop on a plane really quick and take a little time for myself and bring it back in. So there's advantages to having, multiple passions and doing those things, but honestly, really balancing that and having that resilience on the self-care side. Right. Often we talk about resilience, and pushing through, but you have to have that other piece of resilience when it comes to yourself and self-care. So I think that has been the thing that has really gotten me through. And it's been very recent. Let's get this straight.
You hit a bunch of walls over the past 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, it's been tough, and even, with motherhood and things like that, feeling, that guilt or that I know we often have as moms. You're just like, maybe I should shut one down. And I'll never forget being part of the Urban Leadership Foundation and why Livingston came and spoke to us about her journey and her being in the workforce, but also pursuing her passion for her career, and often talking about how it wasn't really acceptable for women as much as it was for men. But she was like, if they can do this, why can't we? And I think that was a pivotal moment for me in 2015 where I said, you know what, I can do this. And it's gonna be okay, even though it's because oftentimes I found myself at work not wanting to talk about my travel agency. I felt like people were gonna be like, oh, well, is she doing her travel agency at work? And those things. So mixing those two and having even that at work guilt, by just saying, hey, I own my own business. After 5, this is what I'm doing. But now I'm really comfortable in that.
I love that you're saying that, because I think that I think especially as women, are taught that we owe our whole selves to one thing, right? And so when you do more than one thing, even just I go to work and I have children, right? How much judgment do we leverage against moms that do that? And then God forbid you're like, oh, I have my own business, I go to work, oh, I travel for work, or the things that people say, because it's like, oh, you can only dedicate your whole self to one thing. Like, I'm learning, the only person that gets my whole self is me. And then I can be my best self in all the things that I want to do. But how have you grown the confidence? Because I know people leverage the same judgments your way, as I'm sure they do for me and other moms. So how do you sort of say, hey, that's not what, I'm not going to own that?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with that, because how do you, and I have to say, even though we try not to have validation always from others to let us know that things are okay, I actually feel like in this case it actually worked for me a little bit, because the more that I spoke about my travel agency and things, like people were like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, well maybe we can do that. So it kind of was that validation from others that this is okay that helped me, even though, because I was putting it out there almost like crumbs, right? Like, let me test this and see how this goes, how this works. And as I received more validation, it actually helped me be more comfortable and confident in it. And so I feel like that's one of those times that, validation from others really helped me in that journey of being confident and being comfortable. Even with the CEO of my company now, coming up to him, I have a travel agency too, right?
Yeah.
And so it's okay.
Being proud of it. I've got all of this stuff going on, and I'm really proud of it. And I think that's a really good advice for people, because I haven't met many folks, especially folks that are coming up in their career. They have they're more well-rounded in the sense that they know they're probably going to do multiple things, and sometimes that's at once. And to say that's okay, and to sort of build your own brand so that you can walk in purpose outside of a company you may work for, those types of things. So that's really good advice, is start to just own it and drop it a little bit at a time and see how people respond, and maybe they'll affirm you. I think more and more companies are affirming you in being able to do so many things.
I mean, it's only fair. And like I said, I'm not doing that work during that time and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, and I would say, after 5, this is what I do, and I love to do, and being able to use that time that they give us, to take off vacations, that it pays off. So
right.
It all kind of balances itself out. So, like you said, that affirmation, just to be able to do the things as women that we want to do. Why should I have to choose? Traveling is my passion, and so are these youth, and making sure that they're prepared as they leave high school onto their transition into higher education or
I love it.
The workforce, right?
I love it, and our community is so grateful to you that you're finding the energy to keep doing both, right? It's important. I can't imagine our community here in Denver, what it would be like if you weren't with our youth, right? And, even helping me fill out, FAFSA for my own son, right? Who's going to college. So just I know how many people call on you and call on your time. And so for you to be selfless of your most precious resource, which is your time. And I've never seen you ever once complain about it. It lights you up to be doing that.
Yeah, because when we have resources, what good is it if I hold all of this knowledge
right.
and don't share it?
Right.
So I get excited when I get those messages, hey, can you help me with this? Or what do you know about this? And even if I don't know the answer, I can tap into resources, or it's a joy for me to be able to find others who can help and support. And that ironically is as much time as I give, it's what fuels me.
Yeah,
right?
Interesting.
Understanding and knowing, and then the one thing when you're done helping people and they're just like, thank you so much. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. I don't need any other validation. Just knowing that you were able to give them something.
Yeah.
Just because it's a knowledge base that they may have not otherwise had, which could in the future cost them a lot of money, right? Because higher education is expensive.
Yeah.
And just knowing how to pull on those resources. So just hearing those families when they leave and they're, thank you so much. That's what fuels me, and that's what keeps me going, honestly. I grew up with a single mom, and, we kind of did that college thing on our own.
Yeah.
We got through it, but there were a lot of things that we didn't know, and,
entirely.
And I'm paying for it now. And
yeah, exactly. And I'm still paying the bill on that one. Yeah, 100%.
And so I tell the students all the time, I'm like, I'm not telling you this because I read some books. I'm telling you this because I lived it, and I'm still currently living it.
Yeah.
Listen to me and listen to these other adults. We want to see you all, be better, do better, and have other opportunities that we didn't have. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're grateful. I know they're grateful, and the folks watching this are going to be grateful, because this is a lesson in walking in purpose, and the difference between having an 8-hour-a-day job that doesn't feed what you are meant to do on this planet versus the one that does. I think that is so real. So to figure out what does light you up and fuels your energy versus coming home and being drained at the end of the day is critical. And the earlier you can learn that in your career, the better your career will be.
The better. I was just talking to a group of freshmen yesterday, and I tell them that all the time. Don't chase a career because of money. Chase it because
right.
of passion, because if not, you're going to see that you become very burnt out very quickly and very unsatisfied, And if you have a passion, whatever your passion is, you can convert it into money.
Right. That's what I always say. The money comes because
Yeah.
you'll be very successful at the thing you were meant to do.
Exactly.
Your titles will come, and the money will come, and your ideas will come.
All of it will follow.
Yeah.
All of it will follow.
So leave us with this. What is leadership to Chevy Lowe?
That's good. So leadership to me, the one word that comes to mind is inspiration, right? And I say inspiration because it's twofold. So as a leader, you have to be able to inspire.
Right.
Right? But also those who you are leading, you have to be able to pull the inspiration from them as well.
I
Otherwise,
love that.
It doesn't work.
Yes.
Right? And so for me, I think that's really key. And I think sometimes people forget that
Yep.
even though we're leaders, we're still learning from those who we are leading.
100%.
And if we lose that, it's going to be impossible for you to move forward, right?
Yeah.
So you have to pull on that inspiration from your team and yourself as well, and then you have to be able to inspire others.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a mentor and a coach and someone that walks in their purpose so that the rest of us have it a little easier. I know it's not always easy, but it's appreciated.
Well, no, and thank you, because you set the tone, and you know, seriously, being able to see it, I think when us as women, we see other women and we can empower each other, it
Right.
just helps that much. So thank you too for building not only this platform but other platforms in the community to set an example for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps us going as well. I know it keeps me going, so I love watching you work.
Back at you. Till next time.